Timpanogos Cave National Monument recently celebrated its 100th birthday, but the beloved caves that sit high up on the Wasatch Front have been silently forming dazzling displays since the days of Lake Bonneville. Cami McKinney, the program manager for Visitors Operations and Science, says there are 3 different caves that make up the monument, and while they may be geologically related, each cave was discovered separately and holds its own special qualities.
A lot of people, when they think about Timpanogos Cave, they think they're going to see just one, but you actually see 3. And these 3 caves are geologically related, but each one was found separately. And then in the 1930s, they actually connected these natural caves with man-made tunnels. The first one that you see is Hansen Cave. It was discovered by Martin Hansen, who was following mountain lion tracks on the mountain, and he followed them up the cliffs until he found a cave in 1887. And the next cave was not found until 1913, and that's Timpanogos Cave. That's the one that most people remember. It's certainly the name that we use. And it was just a few teenage boys that were climbing around on a cliff face. And then Middle Cave was found in 1921, and it was found by the son and grandson of Martin Hansen.
According to the National Park Service, the Forest Service originally oversaw the caves but didn't have money to manage them. A group called the Timpanogos Cave Committee was founded, and they raised money for lights and a trail. In 1922, President Warren G. Harding used the Antiquities Act to preserve the caves. The Timpanogos Cave Committee oversaw the maintenance and care until the National Park Service took over in 1944. During the Great Depression, the Civilian Conservation Corps and the Works Progress Administration provided Utahns jobs to make trails and blast tunnels to connect the caves. McKinney says the tours are much different now than when they started.
So if you went on a Martin Hansen tour in 1887, the trail that we use today is not the trail they used back then. He actually cut down trees, would lay them against the cliff face, and you would climb the branches to get up into Hansen Cave, and then you would explore a cave by candlelight. Even in the first tours that were given in 1922, they were walking on a mud floor, and the lighting was very, very different. And so people were learning about caves without really understanding geology.
The 1.5-mile trail has been paved since the 1950s. The elevation gain is about 1,000 feet, roughly the height of the Empire State Building. There are benches to catch your breath and enjoy the view. In addition to the elevation gain, those visiting the cave should also look out for rockfalls. High-risk areas are marked with yellow and red paint. When you make it to the top, there are 3 different cave adventures that you can do.
One of the things that people need to know is if you want to see the cave, you need a ticket. There are 3 different cave tours. There's the introduction to caving, where you wear a hard hat and a headlamp and you get to explore. We have a lantern tour where the lights are off, but you're handed a lantern and you get to go see the cave the way they saw it 100 years ago. And then there's the tour that a lot of people remember, and you have a fully lighted cave experience. Cave tours are every 15 minutes all day long, but they do sell out really quickly.
When entering the cave, there is a mirage of colors and formations, including helictite formations, which McKinney says are unusual to see in caves. It may be tempting with all of the textures and colors to know what they feel like, but McKinney says visitors need to keep their hands to themselves.
Sometimes it's so tempting to want to touch, especially when you want to understand how it feels. We as humans use touch as a way to learn about the world around us, but even the oils on our skins can damage the cave formations. That can stop them from continuing to develop, but also a lot of them are very, very fragile. And a simple brush of your shoulder or a touch of your finger can cause them to break. And since it takes hundreds and thousands of years to have these rocks actually growing, it's important that we allow them to continue to develop so that you can come back another day and enjoy the caves, but your children can also come, and your grandchildren can come and have the same experience that you do.
While the formations are incredible, they also have scientific value. Water from the surface drips down into the cave and can be studied through stalactites. Thousands of years of history are well preserved because the cave remains the same temperature year-round and is hidden from weathering and erosion. To preserve the history and natural beauty of the cave, they do a deep clean once a year.
So one of the things that we have to do every year with those 60,000 people that come into the cave, even if they are on their best behavior, even if you're being very careful not to touch, we often leave a little bit of hair behind, sometimes lint off our clothes. And in the fall, we go through and we do a cave cleaning, a cave restoration. And we clean the cave by using toothbrushes and tweezers and a little bit of water. And we're able to keep the cave looking as pristine as it does. But one of the things that we've learned lately is even the carbon dioxide that we breathe out is changing the cave environment, and it changes how the cave formations grow. And when we introduce too much carbon dioxide into the cave environment, it slows the growth of a stalactite.
McKinney says it's important to have a balance when enjoying nature and keeping it intact. The key, she says, is responsibility. She says we need to preserve the caves so that future generations can experience the cave as those who came before them.
There's something extra special about going into a cave. And as you enter that darkness, you get to learn a lot about yourself. You experience what it's like to be in the darkness of the underground that is so completely enveloping. Even the air feels different underground. It feels different, it smells different. And you get to decide exactly how you interact with this piece of nature through this very sensory experience.